Hello, my name is Carrie Moore in University 108. Teacher or professor is Crystal McCabe. My current assignment is in regard to the teacher disposition and ethics. The assignment has requested that I assess myself in regards to my personal disposition as a teacher moving forward, what I need to work on, what I currently have the skill sets for, and rate myself 1 to 10, 10 being my highest and 1 being what I need to work on the most. And at this point in time, I'm going to start with my highest in regards to my teacher dispositions. First and foremost, I'm going to go over compassion. And as I am currently in a classroom with Cleveland ISD, I can state these from the point of view of a active teacher. Compassion involves, having that relationship and that understanding with the students, as well as having meaningful conversations, being present, being aware, and being consistent with the students that I work with. I will say that is going to be what I rate myself highest in, as compassion is something that I have experienced being a necessity in regards to my interactions with my students. I have students that come from all walks of life. Primarily, though, our district is a Title IV district, meaning we have a lot of extremely high need students with extremely low levels of financial support. And as that is currently something that a lot of my students struggle with, they are low financially and they feel less support. Their parents are often constantly working or constantly busy. They don't have the funds to get the things that they feel they should have at this point in time, or where the other students may actually have at this point in time. It becomes a very personal battle for them. We have a lot of kids that are going through a lot of different things. We have students that are homeless, students that have had extreme loss in their family, including that of siblings or very close relatives, things that not all of us have gone through. And compassion for the student is extremely important, as it creates a rapport with the students. It shows them that they're important, they're needed, they're loved, and they have a place. So I will rate that as my highest, and right behind that is advocacy, because I do, like I stated, I have students that have a lot of loss, or they have a lot of difficulties, and they need someone to support them, lift them up, and work for them, and show that they need this support, they deserve this support, and they should receive it. So I do have to often advocate for my students. Now, lowest I put as reflection, because despite the fact that I do understand, I'm not going to be rated the highest, I'm not going to be the most sought after, the most effective teacher, especially within my first year or two. I probably don't do enough reflection in regards to my actions throughout the year. I mean, you will have those times where, like, we have our T-test observations. They say, okay, well, what have you done? What could you have done differently? What could you better yourself? In that case, I do reflect, but it's not something I'm doing as regularly as I should, and that's definitely something I need to work on. And it's something that's not going to be the highest rating for myself. Now, all of these are things that are important, and they do need to be assessed, and they do need to be treated properly, and I will always choose to do my best in all these areas. And even stating that reflection is not my highest, I do, however, still make sure to try to do all these things. It's just not going to be my highest skill set. But in regards to all the dispositions, they are all extremely important. Fairness, making sure we treat all of our students equally, and giving them all equal opportunity. And that may not be equality more so as equity. We know that some students are going to need more support. That doesn't mean they're getting more chances versus another student. It means that we are making the accommodations that are necessary for that child as an individual. Professional conduct, making ethical decisions, making sure we are punctual, consistent, and we show a positive role model for our students. I do have professional conduct. The reason I did not rate that necessarily my highest was because of the fact that there are other things I feel as though I have more of an impact on, or more consistent with. Curiosity. I always encourage my students to be curious, and I myself make sure that I continue to learn and explore and create better avenues for myself and my students. So curiosity is one that, again, I may have not rated my highest, but I do feel is very important. I encourage my students to be curious about the world around them, to ask questions, and if I don't know the answer, I'm going to seek out a way to find the answer. Honesty. These students sometimes have not experienced much of honesty in their lives. Sometimes it is just a situation in which they exist and their parents aren't forthcoming, or their family's not forthcoming, or the adults in their lives aren't as forthcoming as they should be. So I make sure that honesty is important with me. If we have a conflict in the class, I pull them aside, and I don't do this in front of the other students. I want to make sure that they are separate. We have a conversation. Why do we make the decisions we made? Were they the correct decisions? So on and so forth. Have I been negative, dishonest, or disrespectful towards you? So if I am giving you this, you need to give this in return. We are on equal grounds here. We are both committed to making your educational experience a better one. So be honest with me, because I will be honest with you. Honest, straightforward, and direct. Dedication is another one that I did rank myself fairly high on. Dedication is something I feel is very important. You got to have a positive attitude going to the classroom. You have to make sure that you really have an active participation, that you're there, you're present, and you're teaching for the student to learn. You're dedicated to that education, and that's something I definitely feel is extremely important. Respect for diversity, especially in the district I'm in which we have an extremely diverse group of students, an extremely diverse group of people, and just in general in life. You have to respect the diversity of others, because that's what you would want for yourself, first of all, and second of all, we all come from different walks of life. Respecting that diversity allows you to not only create a rapport with a student, but it also allows you to learn more about them and about what helps them learn. So you're creating the rapport, and you're also creating yourself an outline in which you can go along. Well, if this student values this, let's use that to help them learn. It's just an extremely useful tool, and it's also just a necessity in order to make it a positive learning experience. And last but not least is high expectations. I always have high expectations for my students. I have high expectations for myself. We must perform at our best. That doesn't mean that the expectations are necessarily equal. If I have a student who comes in at a below kindergarten level, I'm not expecting them to get to, a third, fourth grade level when we're 6 months into the year. I'm expecting them to try their best. I'm expecting them to do the work and put forth the effort. Whereas if I have a student who comes in second grade at a third grade level, I'm expecting them to have a high amount of growth. They have that capability. That expectation is still there. We don't diminish our expectations based off of what we see of the student. We still expect the growth. We still expect that progress. It's just going to look a little different from student to student. Our high expectations is not, again, it's not necessarily equal, it's equitable. We have these expectations based off of what the student has shown us. So absolutely, the high expectations are something that I am I find extremely important. So all this has been stated in regards to the ethics of and dispositions of teachers, and I am doing this from the point of view of not just a student, but also from a teacher's experience, as I have been in the classroom for the past 2 years. But I believe I have gone extremely over my allotment of time. However, that would be my video in regards to the assignment.